those kind of voices that are validating what you guys are saying, that hey, this is important and we need this. Those voices in the community not associated with school that's also saying that yes, this is important for all of us. You know, that's again, will be our mission during the campaign to make sure that we can answer that question from whatever perspective we have. We'll show you one more thing and then I'll shut up. I mentioned the PAC. Again, the PAC Political Action Committee. There's one form, state form that you file with the county clerk's office to form the PAC. You need to have a PAC name, which would be Yes for Lakeland Schools or whatever, something like that, something simple. You have to have a chairman, and you have to have a treasurer, and you have to have a physical address. It could be a P.O. box or something, but that's all you have to do to form the PAC. Have a name, a chairperson, a treasurer, and an address. That is filed with the county clerk, and that allows the PAC then to raise money. So that's why the treasurer is important, because the treasurer has to document all contributions to the PAC that's over $100, and clearly all expenditures that the PAC makes. Then they have to file reports with the state. There'll be 2 reports that your treasurer will have to file with the state. But then again, that's all it takes is to form the committee, and then it's just identifying the people in the community that's going to serve on that PAC. And I don't want to scare anybody but once again, when I talked about the social media and how bad that is, one of the PACs that I just came off working with, a small community down in southern Indiana, the chairperson of the PAC was a local chiropractor. Well, they were on the social media, the anti people were putting his name, his picture on there, where his office, and saying boycott his office, boycott. And I mean, it's so personal and so mean-spirited. But again, that's unfortunately the political environment that we're in, and I don't see it getting any better. But the folks that are going to be on the PAC, you folks here, I just want to put that warning out there right now that if you move forward with this, even in a community small where everybody knows everybody, you'll be surprised about how much folks will get angry and upset when it comes to taxes. It's one of those things that touches people, in some people, the awfully wrong way. And so just I always want to caution boards that haven't been down this path that it's not pretty and lined with yellow brick roads the whole way. It can get pretty ugly and personal. Again, as you move forward with whatever considerations you're going to make, just know that this is a process that can get fairly ugly and fairly personal. So I'm going to quit right there and open it up and hopefully be able to answer any questions that folks may have, or any concerns or thoughts.
Any questions?
So how large are the PAC funds typically for a district this size?
Oh, I would say that if you could raise $10,000 to $12,000, you can run a pretty effective campaign. And the thing about it too is when you start thinking about it, and we can put numbers to it. Like an example, once again, you're going to buy 500 yard signs. Yard signs are about $4 a piece. So, okay, I want to buy 500 yard signs. We know what that number is. A direct mail piece that I showed you that's, comes to your house like a Bed Bath & Beyond postcard type thing, those are about 50 cents a piece. So if we know we're going to mail those, and we're going to mail them, I got the total voter households in the school district right now is about 4,400. So if we wanted to mail something to every registered household, that's about 4,400 pieces at 50 cents a piece. So about $2,500, per mail piece to everybody in the district. So as we start looking at what our plan might be, we can start putting budget numbers to stuff and say, okay, we need to raise $7,500. We raise $7,500, we're going to be able to get all the things that we want. Clearly, if you raise $12,000, then we can do more than what we want. Instead of sending one direct mail piece, we might be able to send 2 direct mail pieces or 3 direct mail pieces or something like that. So, as I mentioned before about the voter file, the registered voters will be our focus. I mean, because once again, they're the only people that can help us or hurt us throughout this process.
a committee size is, what's the average on a smaller?
Oh, a size like this, Westview's pack probably had 20. They had a very good pack. The same with Prairie Heights. They probably had 15 or so that came to about every meeting. Now again, that 15 needs to have another 50 behind them that's willing to walk. When we start walking, knocking door to door, start making phone calls. Those folks don't have to come to every meeting or anything like that. But the pack itself can't do all the work. I mean, once again, if we were going to knock on doors, there's 4,400 doors to knock on. This group right here couldn't knock on 44 doors in a couple of 4,400 doors in a couple of months. So that those sheer numbers of that's why I like to show that to tell people, because then you realize, oh my gosh, there's 4,400 doors as if we were going to knock on every registered door. So again, I would say if you would have an active group that came to all the meetings of 15 or 20 people, that would be great. But as long as we had another 50 or 100 behind them ready to do the work, then that would be fantastic.
From start to finish, 144 days, is that right? Or to start a referendum and?
Well, if you were going to go in May, clearly the true campaigning would really start probably the 1st of March. I mean, we'd be getting January and February would be getting everything organized, getting our team in place, getting our plan together, raising some money and that kind of stuff, and then hit it hard March 1 when it starts getting warm out and people start thinking about the May election. If you were going, again, if you were looking at a November election, then the board would pass their resolution probably in August, and then we'd have the August, September, October time. But again, if you look at November, then that would allow, and the campaign starts in August, let's say, that allows January to August for the district to do some outreach and education, sending some of these things out, some information out. Wouldn't say anything about the referendum, wouldn't say anything about vote yes. It would just be all district information. Yay, look at how good we are, look how important we are. So it would allow the district that window of opportunity to spend money on outreach and education, and then the board, have some community meetings, kind of get a sense of the community about what they might support, what they would support, what they wouldn't support, and then the board, that gives the board, you guys, information then to consider what option you want to do, if we want to do this, if we want to do that. We've heard from the community. So I mean, again, from start to finish, if you were looking at a May 2020, we're kind of behind the 8 ball because we wouldn't really have much time for the district to be out there and engaging. It would just mean that we'd have to have a very aggressive and strong pack and really have a very aggressive campaign from from March until May. If you were looking at November, that would allow a lot more time for the district then to be engaged with the community, and then you guys would take your action in August probably, and then the pack would start with the political aspect of it.
How many referendums, what's the success rate during a presidential election?
I don't think this November can be considered like any other presidential election. And I don't mean that in jest. Both sides, I don't care what side you're gonna, when November comes, you're gonna be angry. You're coming to the polls mad, because you're gonna be mad that this guy's not been thrown out yet, or you're gonna be mad because they've been trying to throw him out. You're gonna be mad. But the beauty part about that is people aren't angry about taxes right now. Being the economics of this cycle, there's the stuff that people are talking about, and I think the issues of this election aren't really going to be that much economic wise, and and I don't think taxes are going to be the theme. So I would say that in this upcoming presidential cycle, in this county that I know of, I'm not sure that it will be a negative this November. Now, last time in 2016, when we were working with a school district that was looking to do this, and my business partner and I suggested that they move it because we didn't think that the presidential election in 16 would be a good, just because of with Ms. Clinton and with Trump on ballot. We suggested that districts that were looking at November look to the next May if they could afford to do so, just because of that cycle. I don't see that. Robin, my business partner, and I have talked about it. We don't see this November right now. We don't see next November as being one that we were cautioning districts to move away from. Now that may change, you know, as this moves forward, if it really gets ugly or whatever. But for the most part, the presidential elections have been good for referendums because they're higher turnout than primaries are, and the higher turnout usually means that we get the public school supporters come out. So I don't necessarily have a breakdown of what's May versus November, because I think they're each a little different. But this November, I don't think it scares me as much as what some Novembers have. And as I said, 2019 was the worst year for referendums statewide as far as passage goes. 54% when it's normally over 75% passage rate. And equal opportunity. Operating failed as much as capital did. It wasn't all the operations passed and all the capital failed, or vice versa. Operating and capital both met with the same demise. Safety and security passes, by the way. If you're looking at something, if you're looking at an operation, if there's anything in the operation that you can look to without fudging it, but add any safety and security to it, I would recommend considering that, just because safety and security, when in all the districts that we've done and that we've surveyed, the number one issue that folks say they'll support every time is safety and security. Even the folks with not a connection to the school district, because they know if I'm in the community and I don't have a connection to the school, but if there's a tragedy at the school, it's going to affect the entire community, it's going to affect me, even though I don't have someone there. So if there are any safety and security measures that you are looking to do that you could add to this referendum, then I would suggest that you do that, just because I think it gives us another population. Okay, I'll support that because that's in there. So.
Any other questions? Sue, you look like you had something there, no?
No, I'm sure I will have
A lot of information.
You mentioned that if you don't mind me jumping in on your
Please.
meeting here, the cost that the PAC would take over, what would contract, I mean, obviously we contract with you to do the upfront work before
Right.
we even get to the campaign, what kind of cost would be looking at?
Well,
You mentioned the surveys, about
Right.
7,000 for a survey.
Yeah, well,
So-
our fees would be $25,000 flat fee, and then again, that's working with you from the district, and then when the PAC is involved, then again, I become a full-time volunteer for the PAC. And I'm very meeting, I know how important that is, and so, I'll encourage a weekly meeting, and then as it gets closer, there's clearly weekly meetings, and then daily phone calls and everything else. So it's one that is, we are fully engaged from the time we start to finish.
How important is it that the entire board is on board?
100%. If there was one dissenting member on this board, whether or not to do this, I would pass, because we've done that twice. We've had efforts where there was at least one board member not for it. Both of them failed bad, and because every time somebody would say, we need this, a board member would say, no, we don't. And it was doomed from the very start. So yeah, I would say if you don't have 100% agreement among you guys, then don't move forward with it, because the success rate of having that passing, if you've got one of your colleagues not supporting it, is I would say it's doomed from day one.
Do you have ways that you can help us circumvent this negativity that's going to appear?
Well, as much,
Magic fairy
yeah,
dust.
as much as we can possibly be as, out front, as early as we can be. And try, you know, again, try to be as transparent as you can possibly be. Try to, you know, again, that's why I went back to the community meetings. Try to invite the community to participate in the decision that you guys make them feel like they've participated in the decision. And then, when it starts and when the social media and the misinformation starts coming, we just have to have somebody dedicated to responding to that. And again, it's not personal, it's not going back and forth, well, you know, Mrs. Smith, you're totally wrong about that. I mean, but having some type of a fact checker type thing, whether it's, you know, here's some information that's been out there, and here's some factual information for you to, you know, that kind of thing. So it's just try to just be as much facts as we can possibly be. And again, that is where the third-party validators are really important, because then if somebody's saying something about that's clearly wrong about the project, it's gonna be, you know, a monthly impact of $512, you know, then you have somebody say, you know, there's a tax